Hey there, folks. Today we're going to be talking about how to change text into video. And I know that a lot of our users, they find it so easy to create video in Studio, but we've had a lot of questions of how do you actually take that text? What happens along the way as you move from text into a visual format? What are sort of the milestones that you're hitting along the way, and how do you actually make those changes? And so today we're going to be talking about how to take a blog post or some sort of industry trends article or roundup and turn that into a video. So let's get going. So on the left here, you have an example of a blog post that was boiled down into a Slack post. And on the right, you have the video that text posting became. And so the story on the left is that this is actually one of my Slack posts. I was trying to teach new learning and development language to some folks at our company. And so I took a blog post, an article that you can see linked at the top over here, and I boiled that down into a what is it? Why is it important? And now what should you do with this sort of framework for understanding? And so in this case, I chose Agile Learning. So I defined Agile Learning, why it was important for some of the folks that we talked to, and what they can do with this knowledge and how they should be applying it to discovery conversations in the future. And so you can see, let the data show that it got about 5 OKs and 3 hallelujahs. And so this is really the perfect use case where somebody who's busy in their day might not have time to read this big chunk of text, and instead I can turn it into a video. And so what it became, or where it ended, is this video on the right. So I'm going to play that for you now.
Today, we're talking about a very hyped up buzzword in the learning industry, Agile Learning. In this video, we'll define Agile Learning, why it's important, and what you should do next.
Agile learning is the application of agile methodologies to the learning organization, meaning that learning becomes more bite-sized, responsive to market feedback, and allows for more collaboration and experimentation. Current methods for training and development lack the speed necessary to keep up with the demand for reskilling and upskilling in larger organizations. Also, the shift to remote and hybrid work calls for entirely new types of training to be developed as managing a remote company becomes more common. To meet the need for rapid development, L&D teams must work to build smaller chunks of content faster and at scale. Moreover, collaboration is going to be the key factor in enabling other departments to develop learning. In your discovery conversations with learning leaders, ask how their learning strategy has changed in the past 2 years. Every learning leader will have many challenges to share that we can help them brainstorm around. Identify places to help content developers to break down older long-form content into microlearning. Finally, look for ways to have other roles outside of learning build content. SME can now build content as easily as a video editor with our templates.
Thank you for your time. Look out for the new Digital Trends video next Monday by 3 p.m. EST.
Great. So you can see that there were a couple things that were much more engaging about the video on the right. We have multiple avatars for engagement. We have talking heads. We had some slick animations, some great visual layout, and we also had some music in, which you can't always provide with a written blog post. So how did we get there? We essentially had 4 different steps to take us from text into video. The first step is that you want to review your content. And when you look at your content, you want to make sure that you have boiled everything down into the critical information only. So what that means is that when you're moving from text into video, the way we consume video, we're expecting things to move quickly and take much less time, and we're relying upon the visuals to communicate some of our message. So the first thing we want to do is make sure, do we only have the critical information only in our script? The second is that we have digital humans or avatars who are going to be voicing this over. So we want to make our tone as conversational as possible. You want to use short, simple sentences, simpler vocabulary, maybe some colloquial terms here and there, and let the avatar present almost as you're teaching your avatar almost like an actor, where you're giving them lines to present. You want them to come off as humanly as possible so that your viewers get the full engagement experience. The second, and this is a big one, is to chunk up your script. And so what you're seeing on the left is the original post, and on the right, you're going to see the Google Doc, which I'll show you in just a few seconds here, which is you're breaking this up into 4 to 5 sentence chunks. One, so you can keep the pace of things moving, but also so that you can start to look at these chunks of written text and think, how would I visualize this in a video medium? Am I going to use these 2 sentences as talking head? Am I going to use stock footage, stock imagery, or stock video to show instead of tell my audience what I'm trying to say? Or perhaps I might include some of this as helping text or bullet points to reinforce what's being read to my audience so that I can really hit some key points home. The third step is you always want to go to a template. If you can, look through our template libraries because I know that I'm not a visual designer and I spend a lot of time trying to think about how to make my content look great. And so I'm going to show you where to grab a template, how to explore the different templates. And then once you have it, you can just copy and paste your chunked up script into the script box and click generate video and get to moving. The final and fourth step is to visualize your text. You're looking at each sentence or group of words and you're thinking, is this best visualized as a talking head? Do I need to make these bullet points on screen? Do I need stock footage or stock imagery or stock video to show? Or perhaps I need to upload some of my own video or my own brand assets. So those 4 steps, we're going to go through all the way from start to finish, how you review your content, step 2 to chunk your script, step 3 to select your template, and finally with step 4 to visualize those chunks of script and visualize your text into the video format. We're kind of moving into step 2 here, which is to chunk your script into 4 to 5 sentence max chunks. I actually prefer 1 to 2 sentences max, just to keep things moving, but we'll talk about that in just a second here. The first thing I did when going from that blog post into my script is I added a greeting. Hi there. You wouldn't expect a presenter to dive in right away into their information, and so you should expect your avatar to be like a real person. We're using a little bit of colloquial language, some of that conversational tone when we say things like, today we're going to talk about a very hyped up buzzword in the learning industry. Next, we want to keep things at 4 to 5 sentences maximum or even less. And so the idea behind this is that with pacing, with your video format, the way we consume video, we're used to seeing things ever growing and or ever moving and ever changing in a quick, methodical way. And so by having just one visual per set of per chunk, you can keep a lot of different images floating in front of your viewer, and you can really engage them quickly. All right, so we have our script. It's all chunked up. We're ready to go on to step 3, which is to find a template and copy and paste our script in. So this is your studio view when you first enter Studio. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to the templates button on my toolbar, and there I can find all the different templates. And what's great about these is that the visual layouts, and I can get a sense of the tone and the feel of what some of these might be used for by looking at the title slide. But then by clicking into this, I can see how they lay out the different bits of information. And I can choose to if I find that I like all the templates, I can add all 6 slides. So I can do that by clicking on all 6 slides. Or if I decide that I only want select slides, I just click on the ones. So I clicked on that one there that I like. Maybe I like this one or I like this one. So that's just to show you that you can explore the slides. You can look at the layouts and you can add 6 or just some of the slides. The one I want to use for this video is I like the case study slide. And I like it for a couple of reasons. I can see here that we have a couple different avatar layouts, so some in circles, some not at all. The avatar is just voiceover only. And then they're there for the title and ending cards. So I really like that there. And then next, I can see that there's opportunities to add stock footage and bullet points. And so I'm going to click add all 6 slides. And I can see that they've appeared in my slide navigator, which is great. In order to use these, I have to take out some of the placeholder text that's already in the script box. And I'm in my next step, I'm going to highlight all this text, and I'm going to delete it. I'm then going to go back into my script and start copying it and pasting my different chunks into uh, my script box. So at this stage, I'm in step 3. I copied and pasted my text into the script boxes for each of the slides, so you can see those here. And I added an extra slide onto the end here using the Add Slide button to make room for my sign off. A couple of other things that I did is in the last step is I switched out my avatars. I wanted to really engage my viewers, in this case, by having different avatars. So I want my viewers to hear different voices and see different people as this information is presented. So my fourth step is that I need to start visualizing the text. And so we can do this in essentially one of 3 ways. One, we can use this by putting helping text on screen and having the avatar voice it over. We could have just the avatar speaking, so a talking head, or we can also use stock imagery or stock footage, or upload other images or video that we want to include in our total video. So already I'm going to start to look at my script here. And this is just my title slide. I want to make sure that I have my title on here. So the title of our video is going to be Agile Learning. So I'm just going to add that in here. I'm going to take out the other parts of the template just so that I have just my title on here. So here I have a definition of what Agile Learning is, as well as some key points here that Agile Learning is bite-sized, responsive to market feedback, and another one here that says it allows for more collaboration and experimentation. So I want to have that voiceover here, but I also want to have the helping text to reinforce those key points from my presentation. So I'm going to put that up here. Agile Learning is, I'm going to blow this up just a little bit so that it's a little bit more visible for my audience. And I have 2 bullet points and I need 3. So I'm just going to select both of these, clicking and holding my Shift button. I'm going to copy and paste using Command C and Command V. And now I have 3 bullet points that I can use, that I'm going to move these up just a little bit to make it nice and neat. So bullet point number 1, Agile Learning is bite-sized. Don't need this description slide. It is responsive to market. I'm going to make room for feedback down here. And finally, number 3, it allows for more collaboration. I'm going to put this down here, and experimentation. And just to make sure that I am emphasizing each of these key bullet points, I'm going to copy and paste again using Control C and Control V to give each of these a nice little red marker that's going to slide down when the bullet point is mentioned. Just even that out there. Great. So now on the third slide, I can see that we're talking about shifting from remote and hybrid work, and it's requiring a new type of training. And that reminds me that we need to show that in some way. And so I'm going to change out my stock footage here. This is just placeholder footage. And I want to show something that demonstrates that remote work. So I'm going to go to our stock library, and I'm going to type in remote work and see what pops up. So as I'm looking through the stock library, I can see that there's people working at home, some people working on video. The one that I'm going to go with up here, though, is the second one. I see that this woman, it looks like she is working with somebody on her screen at the moment. It looks like I can see pictures of her family. So she's working definitely in her house. She's got a nice plant there. And let's play this and see what it looks like and sounds like.
Also, the shift to remote and hybrid work calls for entirely new types of training to be developed as managing a remote company becomes more common.
Excellent. So I see that the stock footage is her remote working. I got a chance to see what that looks like. Makes me think I just want to write in one more key point here that's just going to reinforce this point that remote work calls for new types of training. So I'm going to write that in here. I'm just going to adjust this slightly so that it all fits in there. And now I have my helping text on screen. I have stock footage that demonstrates my point, and I have the script to voice over what we're showing. So we're doing more showing instead of just telling you that remote work calls for new types of training. Let's skip ahead to the bottom here. The bottom here, you can see that I wanted to go for something more of like a newscaster broadcasty feel, and so I have my avatar. She's on a white screen. First, we need to put her into a video studio. So I'm going to click twice on my background here, and I'm going to replace my image or my color with stock footage, and I'm going to look for something that looks more like a newsroom. So I'm going to look for a news background. I'm looking for something engaging and edgy and is fun to look at without being distracting. So I'm looking through here. Here's a nice one. I can see it has like 3 panels to divide the screen, and I can focus just on the avatar here delivering the message. But I know that I'd like it to have a little sign-off message to remind people and reinforce that, hey, these are going to come up every 3 p.m. on Friday. So I don't have the shapes in here. I can just go back to an earlier part of my template. I can copy it using Shift click and then Command C and Command V. Click on my canvas, and there we go. I'm able to bring this over from another slide, and I need some text as well. So I'm just going to go back and copy again with Command C and paste. Put that here. And let's just change this to that sign off. See you there. I'm just going to add here on the side when people should tune in. So at 3 p. EST. And let's see what this looks like in preview just by hitting play.
Thank you for your time. Look out for the new Digital Trends video next Monday by 3 p. EST.
Excellent. So I can see the animation works. I have my key helping text on here and a nice sign off to end my video. So I'm just going to click when I'm satisfied. I can preview my whole project using this play button here in the top right of the screen or of your canvas. And this will just put all these slides and animations together so you can watch it long form. I think what's important to call out is that your avatar will not move until you click generate video. So even while you're getting the voiceover, it won't start moving around until you click that generate video button and finalize your video. So I click that and I click save and process video. So today we covered essentially the 4 steps here. The first step being to review your content, to boil that content down into the essence or what's most important, and thinking about the conversational tone of your piece. In step 2, we chunked our script into small 4 to 5 sentence maximum chunks. That helps us to visualize what our script is going to be saying, as well as it keeps the frames moving once you copy and paste it into Studio. Your video will be more engaging because things will change every 20 to 30 seconds at least. Step 3, we selected our template to get our visual design, taking out the placeholder text and dropping in some of our own language. And step 4 is to visualize your text. You're looking at each segment and you're deciding, how does this best look on the screen? And you can use stock footage, you can use helping text in the form of bullet points or on-screen text, or you can just use your avatar as a talking head in your video. That's all we have for you today, folks. It was great. Thank you for joining us. And we'd love to see you next time as we continue to look at other cases where we've taken text or slides or PDFs and we've turned that into a nicely polished video. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.